Well, let's transition here to from the Fractional Family Office floor. This is a segment where we like to jump into stuff that we're doing, either personally or within our business. And excited to announce that in 2026, we are going to be launching our own in-house bookkeeping service. So this will be the second half of 2026. This will be for operating businesses that we support our entrepreneurs on, and then also our family office entities that we help support them. Now, the problem here really is that as we've looked at some of the data, around 60% of our clients are looking to upgrade the visibility into their numbers, which really comes down to bookkeeping. And so they know that they can have better visibility, better reporting, better input, better KPIs, better budgets versus actuals, and all of that kind of stuff. And so historically, this has been stuff we've always referred out, but this is something that we now believe and have clear line of sight of how we can build a best in practice or best in breed bookkeeping practice. And this will, again, not only just be for operating businesses, but also our family office LLCs, because a lot of our ultra high net worth investors, especially post liquidity event, they have these family office LLCs, for lack of a better term. And I know we did a deep dive on what you need to do to make that a Section 162 trader business. But a lot of that really comes down to just visibility. If I sell my business and I'm worth $60 million liquid, and I've got 30 different investments, real estate holdings, private equity, private credit, stocks, bonds, maybe some development that I'm doing on the side, I want visibility into how all of these different business lines, segments, holding companies, and passive investments are performing for me. And that visibility is a huge piece that a lot of our entrepreneurs are missing. And that's where this family office LLC accounting and bookkeeping comes into play.
I have to admit, I resisted this for a long time because the original model that we came up with was about having the independence and have each professional on the wheel not be tied to do wealth. On the other hand, the market speaks. And I've listened to so many entrepreneurs tell me, Jim, why can't you guys just take over the bookkeeping? Because that helps with the coordination, the seamlessness. And often in bookkeeping, I see underperformance and overcharging, to be direct about it. So I'm excited about this. I think this is going to be fantastic for clients. It's going to be a heavy lift for us on the team. And I feel like this is the right direction for us to be building out some of these services that our entrepreneurs are saying, I would love it if you guys had this in-house. We will do that. It doesn't mean any of our clients have to use that. They still can use any bookkeeper they want. We'll do the coordination. And that also means that if you have a great bookkeeper and all your books and records are squared away and that relationship's great, you don't want to disrupt good relationships just because of something like this.
Yep. I see too many entrepreneurs, making $5 to $15 million a year of revenue, and they have no idea what they're keeping. Their books are a mess. They have no visibility. And so they're making subpar business decisions because they just don't have visibility. They don't have clarity. And that's really a big problem statement. And that if you invest $100,000 on an initiative here or there and you strike out on all of those, or you realize, oh crap, I don't really even have that $100,000 here or there because I need to reload my inventory at the end of the year for a Q1 sprint, that's where you can make some really bad business decisions. And so really excited to dive in and help these entrepreneurs. And I think it also, like you mentioned, puts us on a very clear path to achieve what I believe is really our destiny, to becoming a true multifamily office. Because we started as this fractional family office, and that's what we are today. But the bookkeeping for the operating business and the family office entities is naturally going to dovetail into tax advisory, which is something that's on our roadmap, potentially even legal. We do the investing in-house. And so I think that we do the cash flow plan in-house. So I think at the end of the day, what we've learned is that our entrepreneurs, they want the convenience when they trust you. They want you to take as much stuff off of their plate as possible. And so instead of us being dependent on other vendors or suppliers that sure we trust and that we vetted and that we work well with, it's better if we can control everything in-house, and then everything is customized and optimized exactly for our 7 to 9 figure entrepreneurs, right? So it's not a bookkeeping business for professional athletes or those who inherited money. It is like, this is earmarked for these entrepreneurs, these businesses, these family office entities that we know better than anybody else.
And they'll still be the fractional family office. We'll always have that way of doing things if that makes the most sense for an entrepreneur. The story you've heard me tell before is when I was doing door-to-door sales in between my public school teaching and becoming a financial advisor. And the first week on the job, they said, hey, once a week you got to sit down with Big John, our sales manager, and you got to go over this report. And the report had how many doors did you knock on, how many presentations did you make, how many closes, all those kinds of things. And when I sat down with Big John, he said, do you have the report? I said, yep. I pushed it across the desk to him. He immediately flipped it around to me because I had left a box open, and he took one of his big fingers and he pounded it down in that box and he said, "What number goes in this box?" And I started to tell a story. And as soon as I did, he interrupted me. He said, "A story doesn't fit in that box. A number fits in that box. And if you give me the number, I already know your story." That was a shock to me. But what I realized is you have to know your numbers, whether you're doing door-to-door sales or you're doing a coaching business or you have a technology business or you're selling widgets. Whatever you're doing, you have to know your numbers. And so many entrepreneurs don't know their numbers or don't have their reporting done in a way where they understand and they can actually make smart decisions about the future. And then that means lost profitability, risk to the business, and also a much smaller exit multiple on the back end.